Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to another edition of Court Call with Ronnie Nunn. As we all know, Ronnie was an NBA referee for 19 years, head of officials for 5, and director of development for 3 years, and knows more about the game than anyone else you're going to talk to today. So, Ronnie, thanks for coming on the show to talk about LeBron.
Yes, and the plays that involve LeBron, are they deserving or not when it comes to calls and no calls?
Well, we're certainly no stranger to reviewing calls for or against him, and we've talked about stars getting special treatment or not. What is your take on that before we look at the specific plays? Do you feel like there are moments when the top of the top guys might get the benefit of the doubt, because of who they are?
I have always said that the top of the top guys don't get the benefit they deserve, and that's because they are so capable with their strength and their skill set that they get people sort of confused as to whether they really got fouled or not because they convert so well. They convert so easily. Of course, our more powerful players are most noticeable with that, but even quick players, they get little touches and they get out of it. It's hard to recognize whether they've been hit or not. So the best of our players deserve more calls to them.
Well, let's look at this one because last night against the Bulls, the Cavaliers were hosting them. And early in the game, LeBron James takes off on the break and sizes up Mike Dunleavy, who was just getting back from an injury, and basically treats him like he isn't actually there, runs him over, mauls him, gets the basket, and they count it. No call, no whistle at all. What's your take on what happened and whether this was the correct way to process this?
Well, if you look at the play and you get a chance to look at the baseline view by the official, you will see that Dunleavy turns his body into a LeBron as they both come to a vortex in a meeting place. And really, it's a defensive foul. Now, personally and professionally, this is too much contact not to award LeBron his call. Obviously, Dunleavy tries to lure something offensively to go towards LeBron, and he goes to the floor and makes the play cosmetically look bad. But in all fairness, that is a blocking foul. He did not get there in time to square up, for example. And also, LeBron did not change his angle into the hoop so dramatically where he really took him out, like a 90-degree turn into somebody. He's going to the hoop. He's allowed to lure a contact. And the way Dunleavy ends up getting there, now he's trying to see if he can get something that looks illusionary, but it isn't.
Well, let's look at the footwork afterwards because is that a travel then on the gather and then the 1-2 after that to finish the play?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, this is a great play to look at in terms of that because when you see this play, this is the confusion on whether people are actually traveling, and they are not. LeBron, when he picks up the ball, his right foot is now down. He's no longer dribbling. And now he has 2 steps to go beyond that foot down. That foot down is a gather step or the end of a dribble, and now comes left, right to the hoop, and he finishes very easily.
Yeah, that's actually a good play and a nice inside hand finish to be able to get off the glass at that speed and that angle. It's probably the easier way to do it than trying to go lefty on that left side. So a lot of skill there by LeBron.
Yeah, and no question. And like I said, the defensive action by number 34, Mike Dunleavy, is an illegal act, and he's so powerful in getting through it. There's an example of when he deserves a call and he doesn't get it.
Absolutely. Well, a little bit later, barely a possession later, LeBron again finds himself coming down in the break against Dunleavy, who again tries to take a charge here. And the ball goes flying away, and the referee steps in and gives him a blocking foul. What do you think about this play?
Well, this play is the more traditional block charge play. This is a play where Dunleavy actually is moving laterally and trying to catch up with him, and then, of course, blocks him. And there's no question that this is a blocking foul, and he does get credited for an offensive play where a defender is illegal. So that lateral movement left to right is certainly a foul.
Absolutely. I see the same thing. I see the very end there, he's trying to slide over and take that charge.
Yeah.
But, you can't get stuck moving laterally, right? That's the whole point here. If you're going anywhere in that direction, you're not going to get that call.
Yeah, you got to be there. You just got to be there sooner. It's not a bad idea. You almost have to. You notice sometimes guys really get faked out on a left-right move because what happens defensively is the guy says, I can't really know where he's going. I'm going to take a chance and go right and think he's going to go right. I mean, his right, LeBron's left. And let's hope he can't get the crossover there in time. So when that does happen, all of a sudden the guy does a crossover. It looks like a phenomenal move. But when you're dealing with momentum, you've got to make an adjustment quickly and sooner, or else you're going to get caught up fouling the offensive player.
Well, we have one more play here that happened a little bit later in the game in the second quarter where, again, LeBron James is a locomotive coming down the court here and, basically just takes out Taj Gibson. He goes flying. What did you think about this call?
Well, this is another play in which, the contact against LeBron, obviously, is a powerful player, so people bounce off of him. And, again, Gibson employs the same methodology that Mike Dunleavy did. He didn't get to a place where he can really receive some squared up contact. And he actually goes in with his hands first to start absorbing the contact. He turns his left shoulder in as Dunleavy did, and the same result. You get a blocking foul, and it's very deserving. There's no trickery in this play. The defensive people have got to decide what they want to do when he's coming down full speed on the court. You got to take a stand somewhere and hope that he can't slip that stand and make some kind of contact for the offensive foul. And again, if he doesn't change his path to a very strong, 90, 80, 70-degree change in his path, then it's a blocking foul. And in fact, if he does change his path like that, a moving defender could be credited and get the offensive player to receive an offensive foul. So it's got to be much more demonstrative than that. He's luring plays for the defenders, and they are fouling.
So we've seen that before where maybe the guy isn't completely set, but he has a position and the offensive player makes a dramatic move into him. And we've seen guys cry foul, that's got to be a block, yet it's a charge for that same reason, right?
Yeah, and a credit to the NBA for years now, beyond the 2 feet stationary that's been in high school and college, they recognize the skillful and maneuvering acts by offensive players. And that's why in the NBA, they recognize when an offensive player clearly makes a strong change in angle and takes a player out. That would be called an offensive foul. But these are not strong enough angularly to the hoop where they could call offensive foul. And you get somebody going to the floor like that.
If we go back to the wide angle of the in-game camera, we see that the lead official does make a move to me that indicated he wanted to give LeBron the charge. Do you see that?
Yes, I do. And as a matter of fact, I'm very glad the crew chief in that game, as a matter of fact, it was Monty McCutcheon who was in the slot position for the NBA and center for all other three-person mechanics, the center position. He takes that call because he can see what's really going on. And he has a tough angle to see that lateral movement, that turn. But the lead official is probably thinking this kind of blast from an offensive player has got to be offense. And I'm glad he held up and let the more senior set of eyes and the more experienced set of eyes take that play. You will see that when it comes to dual coverage plays between two officials. They will usually adhere to the more senior person because of experience and the fact that he makes less mistakes. He's probably right. He also took a play that was very tough. Block charge is very tough from the center/slot position.
Absolutely. Well, I think we solved some issues here as far as anybody wanting to cry that LeBron was getting some beneficial treatment because while, right, you said cosmetically there are some issues here to the fundamentals of the refereeing ideology and how the rules are, it seems pretty clear these are all good plays.
Yeah, they're all good plays. And remember, when you're watching games as fans, it's the same transition players that I once was or an early referee. It's to constantly watch the defender. If you watch the defender, even on the replay, you will recognize where his problem is. And then you will also recognize when he's legit and the offensive player created a problem. But you can't read that book left to right. You got to read it right to left, meaning you've got to go to the defense first and go then to the offense. That will slow down everything if you go to the defense with your eyes.
Well, great advice there for referees who are coming up and trying to get better. And again, thanks for all the insight, terrific stuff. Can't wait to go through some more stuff with you next week. And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? You in, Ronnie?
I am in, Coach. Glad to be with you.